Welcome to this video lecture on the subject electronic circuits. In this lecture we are going to discuss about monostable multivibrators. So what is monostable multivibrator? So it is a two-stage electronic circuit which is used as a pulse generator, timer and delay circuits in digital electronics. So monostable multivibrator has one stable state and one quasi-stable state. So it is also known as the one-shot multivibrator, so which consists of two-stage transistor circuit. For example, in this circuit diagram, we can see that we have Q1, Q2, two transistors and RC circuits, and one trigger pulse is applied. So it consists of one stable state. So it remains in this stable state until we are applying a input trigger pulse. So when we apply input trigger pulse to the base of the transistor, so it changes its state from stable to quasi-stable state. It means it is the time duration determined by the RC circuit and circuit return to its original stable state. So whenever we are applying a trigger pulse, it goes to quasi-stable and then it returns to stable state automatically. So this is the overall working of the monostable multivibrator. So it remains there until the next trigger pulse is applied. So this operation is goes on like this. So it does not generate square waves like a stable multivibrator. So when we apply external trigger, it causes to generate the rectangular waves. So it can be used in delay circuits and timer circuits. So it consists of two identical transistors Q1 and Q2 with collector resistances RC1 and RC2. So how it connected is output of Q2 is coupled to the input at the base of Q1 and C1 is the speed of capacitor. And other values are R2 and minus VBB. They are chosen to reverse bias the first transistor Q1. So here the first transistor is in off state initially and the second transistor Q2 is on. So it is the stable state of the circuit. So we know that it has a one stable state and one quasi stable state. So initially it is one stable state. And we are applying a positive trigger pulse of short duration and sufficient magnitude. So we apply this trigger pulse to the first transistor through the capacitor. So the transistor starts conducting. So it decreases the voltage at the collector. So which is decreases the forward bias on the second transistor. So now the increasing potential on the collector of Q2 is applied to base through the resistance R1. So this increases the base potential of Q1. So Q1 becomes saturation and Q2 is cut off. So as the capacitor discharges, the base of Q2 is forward biased and collector current starts to flow. So the Q2 is driven to saturation and Q1 is cut off. So this is the stable state for the circuit and it remains in the same state until we are applying external trigger pulse. And let's discuss the applications of monostable multivibrator. So it is used to function as adjustable pulse width generator. So it depends on the pulse width of the trigger pulse we are applying to the base of the transistor. So based on this, it is generate the short duration pulses and it useful to generate uniform width pulses from variable width input pulse stream. So it generates the pulse waveforms of short duration and it is used to generate the clean and sharp pulses from the distorted pulses. So if the input is distorted means it generates the short pulses with the minimum duration. And it is used as a time delay unit since it produces a transition at a fixed time after a trigger signal. So we know that it consists of one stable and one quasi-stable state. So it is used as a time delay circuit because of the transition determined by the discharging of RC circuit. So these are the applications of monostable multivibrator. Mostly it is used as timer, delay circuits and pulse generators. And let's take the assessment. A monostable multivibrator is also known as It is a one-shot multivibrator. And how many stable and quasi-stable state it has? So one stable state and one quasi-stable state. Thank you for listening this lecture.